A child stands before a burning tower and decides our species has had its turn. If your replacement is smarter, kinder, and infected, are you still the hero? Welcome back to the channel. Drop a like and subscribe before we start. It genuinely helps. Today we are unpacking The Girl with All the Gifts. From 2016, a little girl wakes in a concrete cell, counts down from 10, and straps herself into a wheelchair while soldiers check every buckle before anyone steps close. A dozen identical children are rolled into a classroom at gunpoint, and the teaching is completely sincere. Periodic tables, arithmetic, Greek myth. Melanie answers faster than anyone. Helen Justino tells them about Pandora, the girl given every gift, who opened the forbidden box and let suffering loose across the world. Only hope stayed inside. Melanie loves that story. She also loves saying goodnight to a woman who is never permitted to touch her and who is being watched for exactly that reason. Outside the wire, a fungal parasite has eaten civilization. It hijacks the brain and turns people into sprinting, biting hungries, triggered by noise and the smell of skin. The garrison counts weeks until rotation and sees nothing but cargo in those chairs. Feeding stories to test subjects strikes most of them as a waste of rations. One says it aloud that getting near the freaks turns his stomach. Private Kieran Gallica is younger, softer, and visibly uncomfortable with the whole arrangement. Homework is a story of their own invention. Melanie writes herself as the hero who kills a monster and rescues the most wonderful woman alive, meaning her teacher. Moved by it, Justino strokes her hair. The room detonates, guards screaming, because affection in this building is just a bite that has not happened yet. Sergeant Eddie Parks decides she needs a demonstration. He walks in, wipes the chemical blocker gel off his bare forearm, and offers it to the class. Every polite, gifted kid in that room turns at once. Jaws snap, teeth chatter, eyes empty out. Melanie resists harder than any of them and still cannot stop. She surfaces in tears and apologizes. She is not wicked, she is hungry. And that distinction terrifies everyone holding a rifle. Dr. Caroline Caldwell runs the other half of this program. Children enter her laboratory by name and never come back, and their names quietly vanish from the register. Her reasoning is not stupid. Those brains hold the only tissue resisting the fungus, and a vaccine means everyone lives. The arithmetic still disgusts me. Then Melanie's number comes up. Justino storms in and finds her sedated on the table, head shaved, already prepped for a procedure nobody is meant to survive. Before that argument finishes, the perimeter fails. Angries pour through the fence, the base starts broadcasting its position on every frequency, and the shooting never really stops. Melanie climbs off the table alone and walks out into a massacre. Nobody guards her now, because everyone still holding a weapon is busy dying badly. She finds her teacher cornered and tears two attackers apart to keep her breathing. For the first time, instinct and love are pointing the same direction. Parks wants her shot immediately. Justino refuses to leave without her, so the sergeant compromises. Handcuffs, a muzzle, and a barrel aimed at a 10-year-old. 5 survivors ride out together. Caldwell is wounded, Parks is furious, Gallagher and Private Dillon are terrified, and the calmest passenger is the one in restraints. Melanie points out that she rescued her teacher, exactly like in the story she wrote. Justino reminds her that the girl in that story did not eat people. A supply step goes wrong. Dillon is caught in the open, and the noise drags a pack in from every direction at once. The fight costs them their transport. A stray round opens the fuel line, and people who badly needed a vehicle are suddenly walking toward a garrison called Beacon. Caldwell has already gashed her hand and keeps it hidden under a glove. That small wound will decide more of this story than any weapon in the group. They march through a green, silent England that has forgotten people existed. Muzzled and leashed, Melanie studies everything because she has never stood beside a living tree. London is worse than empty. Whole streets are packed with hungry standing perfectly still, dormant, waiting for one sound or scent to switch them back on. Blockagel keeps the party invisible as a thread between bodies. One cough, one clumsy footstep, and the whole avenue becomes a single set of teeth. Sheltering overnight, Caldwell finally explains what Melanie is. Second generation, neonates, children born already carrying the fungus, who kept their minds instead of losing them. The origin is grotesque. Infected pregnant women, babies who ate their way out through the womb, and a fungus that grew into those infants rather than over them. Caldwell calls it symbiosis. The parasite wraps the brain. The child still thinks, learns, and loves while craving flesh. Remove the infection and you delete the person too. Park starts speaking to her rather than about her. He is still the man who caged her, but he listens now, and she asks about his life. Justino never stops teaching. No curriculum, no chairs, just naming the world for a child who was never meant to have one. Morning brings a problem. The building is ringed by hungries and every exit makes noise. So the most dangerous member of the group volunteers to walk out alone. The crowd ignores her entirely. She explores abandoned houses, tries an address, catches a stray cat and eats it, then wipes her mouth like a guilty kid. Then she walks a stray dog down the road to draw the swarm after it, clearing a path for the adults. She is protecting them deliberately now. Deeper into the city, they find the thing that settles every argument. The BT Tower has become a fungal cathedral, wrapped in growth, encircled by fused human remains. Caldwell reads the seed pods hanging from it and goes pale. Once they ripen and split, airborne spores spread everywhere, and uninfected humanity simply stops being a species. They break into an armored, mobile laboratory the army abandoned here. Solar power, sealed doors, a working radio, and absolutely no reply from Beacon on any channel. Rations drop fast. Caldwell's hand is gone septic, her hearing is failing, and she realizes she has days at most to finish the work of her career. Her offer is honest and appalling. One dissection, one vaccine, and every survivor gets a future. All it costs is the child who calls her teacher family. Gallagher slips out for food and follows a tidy trail of teens. It is bait. A tribe of feral second-generation children has learned to hunt adults with patience. They take him apart, and the softest man in the group dies badly. When the pack surrounds Sparks and Justino, Melanie steps out in front of them. She beats their leader down, cuffs him, and finishes it with a bat. The rest retreat. Whatever hierarchy those children had, she has just cleaned the top of it. Back inside the lab, Caldwell makes her final appeal, dressed up as love. Lie down on this table so that Justino and everyone left gets to keep breathing. Melanie's answer rewrites the premise. She is not a specimen. Her kind think, speak, and learn. So why die to preserve an older model? There is no clean moral answer here. Caldwell is not a monster. Melanie is not innocent. And both are choosing which species gets tomorrow. She escapes, takes fire to the tower, and burns it. The pods rupture. Spores drift down over London in a slow, beautiful, absolutely final snowfall. Caldwell staggers outside, watches her cure and her species end in the same breath, and is brought down by the feral children she never bothered to study. Parks finds Melanie in the fallout with spores already inside him. He hands her his pistol and asks her not to let him turn. She fires. It is mercy and it is killing, performed with the steadiness of someone who has accepted what she now exists for. Parks earned that ending honestly. Next morning, the base children and the feral tribe sit together in the grass, held in line by Melanie, while Justino watches from behind sealed glass. My verdict, one of the smartest infection films ever made, because the horror is not the creature. It is realizing that we are only the prologue. Evolution never asks permission, parenthood outlives biology, and education is how one species hands itself to the next. Who defines humanity is no longer our call. Disagree below? Thanks for watching all the way through. Hit like, subscribe if this kind of breakdown is your thing, and we will meet again in the next video.